Okay, today is the day that I'm gonna take apart this old gearbox. Yeah, this is the one that came out of the SDI, which had quite a few issues. I think it's basically the bearings went in it. I've already drained the gear oil out of it, which has a lot of chunks in it, as you can maybe see there. Yeah, those little sparkles are bits of metal. There's probably bigger ones that have sunk to the bottom. And yeah, gonna start taking it to bits. And the first thing we're going to do is take the end plate off of it. That gets us to 5th gear. And then flip it over, get the rest of the oil out that's probably still in there, and chunks of metal as well. And then take all these bolts out. There's a ring of them that go right round in the bell housing as well, as you can see there. So yeah, gonna crack on and do that. Right, that's the cover loosened anyway. Oh god. That's not supposed to be there. Oh yeah. Oh, she's sparkly. Oof. Yep. That's That's 5th gear, which visually looks not too bad. I'd be expecting damage on the sort of selectors. They're the, I can't remember what you call them, but ooh, that's not maybe there. Yeah, but these parts here basically align the synchro rings. So when the gear engages, it all comes together at one speed. It's synchronized. That gear looks not too bad. There's no chunks out of it. I think we need to delve a little bit deeper, don't you? Okay, so got the gearbox flipped over. Now we've got all these bolts to take out that go through the bell housing and through the diff casing as well. And then we've got this drive shaft cup to take out as well. Can't remember if there's much else. Nah, I think, yeah, the selector and everything stays in place. So EOS, I shall just do that. It's just currently peeing out the rest of the bits of metal and oil. God, that's pretty unpleasant looking. Very sparkly. If I had a magnet on me, I would literally like put it through the oil and see how much comes out. Saying that, there is a magnet in this box. I bet you it's gonna be well covered, unless it's actually fallen and got jammed in the gears, which could well happen actually. But we shall have a look. Okay, can't see anything like properly bad at the moment. There's a lot of bits of metal in there. I think I'm actually going to have to pull the gear sets out. But yeah, I can't see any chipped teeth, really. Nah. I think... Oh, actually, I think I can see... Oh yeah, I can see some damage now. I'm going to pull the gear set out, but right at the very back there, Almost looks like where reverse engages. Can you see just there? If it'll stay in focus. Can you see the chip teeth? That's where reverse engages in. And it also fits onto another, where it fits to this shaft. Because that's your input shaft here. That's basically where your clutch is. That's your secondary shaft. And then that's the diff. Yes. Right, what I'm going to do is do a bit more disassembling and pull all this gear set out, get it properly out of the casing, and then we can have a proper look. That's the magnet. Holy crap. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought it would be. If I can get it out with a screwdriver. Come on. Ugh, Jesus. There it is. Yeah, the magnet looks pretty much exactly as I thought it would. Completely and utterly caked in metal. All that should be in your gears and bearings. There's some other broken bits that just sort of fell out the casing. This side of the casing doesn't look too bad actually. These bearings are alright. Yeah, that's okay, that one is. Same with that one. That there is the code on the gearbox if anyone wants it. 02T 301107C. You can find the ratios and stuff from that, I think. But 02T is the sort of family of gearboxes. Because the one in my TDI is a 02R, which is, I think, a slightly higher rated version. Well, it's definitely higher rated because it's got over 200 horse going through it and hasn't crapped itself. Whereas this only had 64 horse. I still think that this gearbox and this one are pretty much the same. I can't remember what code this was again, but I can find out. That was the one that I built into a working model. This does spin a lot smoother. But yeah, it looks very, very similar, I can tell you that much. Yeah, I'll pull the rest of the gear set out and the diff and everything, and we can go from there. Well, that's quite fun. I'm taking out the ring of bolts around here which hold the sort of like central bearing casing in. I think that's what you call it. I can actually just show you on this gearbox because it's easier. But yeah, I'm taking these bolts out here which hold this assembly in. And yeah, I found this here. This actually fell out the first time. And I was like, I wonder where that came from. That's obviously a bolt that's been chewed quite angrily for a bit. And yeah, I found where it came from. Right there. Put the light on. So that's obviously been munching against this gear here. And then it's just like chewed through it enough. It's even started eating the casing. And yeah, it's just snapped the head off of it. That's alright because it saves me one job, taking one less bolt out. But yeah, I'm just pulling all these out just now, leaving this last one in, and then going to rotate the gearbox onto its side, well, onto its sort of lower part, so it's sitting as it would in the car. Take this diff cup out, then the differential, which is just chilling upside down there, that should then come out. yeah, I think that's about it actually. Taking the circlips off here and here, which as you can see is there. Bit of a pain to take off. Also found this as well, this was in the gearbox. Actually there's a lot of bits like this that fell out. Yeah, I think this, I'm not sure, but it actually looks like part of these collars that the selectors fit into. So when you shift gears, these bits move, as you can see on here. See when you shift gears. So it looks like part of one of these that's came off. So yeah, all these little things here came out of the bottom. They are just sort of like swivels that the selectors move on. Under here, we've got this one big one to take out. That's what holds the reverse axle in, I guess you would call it. As you can see on my model, that bit, where is it? Ah, yeah, sorry, it's right there. There it is, that bit. So the bottom under there holds this in, which reverse moves about on, because that's the reverse gear in there. So, yes. Let's crack on. Oh well, fifth gear has now left the chat, as you can see. And yeah, that's where the whole thing started. I found out what that other bit of metal was that I mentioned, because another piece just fallen out. There you go. It was part of the bearing casing. Ooh. So yeah, that's where the main issue started. And it's completely ruined the casing of the gearbox as well. And it's just spread from there. There's another part of fifth gear. Try and do this one-handed. Hang on a minute, I'm just going to remove another gear. There we go. That was just moving the gear from that shaft. That bearing looks okay, but there again, we don't know. That gear is the one I just took off. Is that actually sitting on there? No, it's not. Yeah. And then we've got, put them down here. That's fifth gear as a sort of selector mechanism. There you go. There's a synchro ring, which isn't too bad. Well, actually no, it says pretty bad. It's quite worn out. Just looking at the discoloration inside it. These are made out of brass, and that should be, yeah, that should be brass in there. Yeah, that's okay, that can go again. And that goes on there like that. Sorry, I just realised that might not be in shot. Lovely. Yeah, so now I'm gonna pull the full gear set out. As you can see there, the diff's now out as well. And yeah, have a good look through. Okay, so I'm still working on getting the secondary shaft out. I think that's pressed in, so I'm gonna have to get creative for that. But got the main shaft out. Ooh yes, I can see the damage now. Let's turn the light off. So that was the main shaft internal bearing. So that's the one furthest inside the gearbox. That is where your clutch will go. So this end here is, quite happy I made this model now. In here. Sorry, I'm talking pish. It's actually in here, this side. There we go. Yeah, bearing in there, in behind there. Yeah, so that one's gone, which caused movement and this gear here and this one not to mesh properly, as well as the one further right in there, which looks a bit like a worm. Can you see it? Yeah, that gear right in there, which meshes with this one. Also take it out, zoom. There we go. Meshes with that gear, and yeah, because of all the movement and the fact that it's got a massive chunk out of it now, that's where this gear and that one were not meshing properly. This one is actually what reverse attaches to. The reverse is still in there, as you can see. I think reverse comes out with this whole mechanism, which can only come out when this shaft comes out, which is the yeah, secondary shaft. So makes sense, because first, third, fifth and reverse were noisy, and that's what's all on this shaft here. So yeah, this is the main shaft, and second and fourth on this shaft. So all starts to make sense now. This gearbox isn't getting fixed either, it is far too gone. Like, look at that, that's just that should have been a nice round hole. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on and get the secondary shaft out now. Okay, it's now fully stripped down. Got the secondary shaft out. Forgot this bearing's actually pressed in, so the whole assembly comes out, obviously. And it was quite difficult to get out. They should usually just slide out, but due to the fact this being so badly chewed up, it was jammed into the casing. Let's look inside the casing. Yeah. So yeah, the bearing race that I was just showing you was stuck in here. Yep, that should not be in there. But yeah, the actual damage that went on. Oh, by the way, that's the select mechanism, nothing actual up with that, so it's not really that interesting. But this is where the bearing race used to be. There was a load of ball bearings that fell out. There's two of them there. That's no longer a ball. That one survived reasonably well. That's reverse. A bit sharp in a few places, but not terrible. Oh, actually, yeah, it's quite bad around there. Yeah, there's a bit of a sharp lip on that there. But yes, anyway, there's the bearing that's collapsed, and it's caused this gear and this one not to mesh properly. That should have been in there like that. And as you can maybe see, where there's been quite a lot of carnage. So most of the grinding has been this gear. It's got a hole in it there almost. That and this as well. The synchro looks not terrible. I will probably pull the shaft to bits, because I do make interesting things out of this. This is going to become a table lamp once it's finished. Oh, bugger off. Yeah, that's going to get turned into a table lamp or something, as I mentioned. I think this one is beyond making a working model, because the gearbox actually has to work for it to do that. But yeah, we've got loads of shards of metal, quite a few bits fell into the gear oil as well. I'm not sticking my hand in there because it's horrible stuff. Yeah, that's a bit of, not too sure what that is. Bit of plastic, could be a bit of bearing or something. Yeah, I'm not too sure what that is. It's very, very worn. It looks like it's definitely been eaten. So yeah, there we go. That is the inside of an exploded Fabia SDI gearbox. I'm gonna do some more comparisons, but I think they are basically the same box as the 1.2s. Because I've said in other videos that that gearbox over there, the model, this came from a 2010 Fabia HTP. It was a gearbox. I did a box replacement for a customer, so kept the old gearbox and made that out of it. But yeah, this one's well and truly smashed. So there you go. Thanks for watching.